Good afternoon, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination and Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. You can find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback versions. You can find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. If you like the video, please subscribe. Today, this afternoon, we want to cover Prince Philip. Prince Philip has been quoted as saying, "In the event that I am reincarnated, I would like to return as a deadly virus to solve the overpopulation problem." I recall in the 80s, when I was growing up, there was a lot of talk about overpopulation. Also Jacques Cousteau. In order to stabilize the world populations, we must eliminate 350,000 people per day. It's a horrible thing to say, but it's just as bad not to say it. And also there's this thing called the Georgia Guidestones that I brought up in another reading. There's 10 inscriptions. The first inscription is, "Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature." Okay, so right now, at this moment, there are 7 billion people on the earth. That would mean getting rid of or killing off 6.5 billion people. Okay, and the population is growing. Okay, and there's a suggestion that, you know, he's got Nazi stars on him. They're saying that he's a Nazi, and they're trying to kill off large swaths of the African population. Well, let's look at that. In 1960, the black African population was 250 million. It has ballooned to 4 billion and is now the third largest population people group on the earth. So the first is Asians, the second is Indians, the third is Africans. Okay, and way down the line are Caucasians. So here's another question. Are any of those folks minorities, as everyone says? No, clearly, Europeans are very clearly minorities on the planet. So anyway, another allegation they're using is food is a weapon. The World Wildlife Fund is one of the largest contributors to depopulation efforts worldwide. So it doesn't seem to be working. 10 to 12 companies run the world's food supply, which are grouped around Britain's Royal House of Windsor, led by the 6 leading grain companies: Cargill, Continental, Lewis, Dreyfus, Bunge, Bourne, Andre, and Archer Daniels Midland. The Windsor-led food and raw materials cartel has complete domination over world cereals and grains. Okay. But it also controls meat, dairy, edible oils, and fats. The oligarchy is hoarding its food and raw materials holdings, and they are prepared to shut down food production and export supplies. So Prince Philip used to run this World Wildlife Federation, and he was filmed shooting a whole bunch of endangered species just prior to beginning this, way back. I think it was in the 60s that he began this. And now Prince Charles is running this. And all of those animals that they were protecting went extinct. So I want to look at depopulation or eugenics. Is there an active conspiracy to depopulate the earth ongoing? Because, you know, the Georgia Guidestones would say yes, somebody wants to, but is there an active plot to depopulate planet Earth ongoing? Okay, or is it just sleeping? Okay, so is there a plot to depopulate the earth? Well, Sun says yes, clearly. 10 hearts is the cup overflows. It actually seems like they're going in the other direction. Okay, the African population has gone from 250 million to 4 billion, and that's because of efforts by the United States and the West to make sure there's lots of food. And so these terrible colonizers have helped to balloon the African population. And now they're getting rid of, like in Zimbabwe or whatever, they got rid of all the people growing the food. And so now they starved and their country went into hyperinflation. And now they're doing that in South Africa as well. And they're also going to starve. So they're reversing the positivity that was brought there. But the 10 hearts, it fills and overflows. So their plan seems right now to bring things to a bursting point. So yes, there is a plan to depopulate the earth. They are committed to this, and they're bringing things to a state of hyperabundance, population to a state of hyperabundance, and the seeds. They're planting the seeds. And the mustard seed is the smallest seed that grows into the largest plant. So there is a plan, but they seem to be actually doing the opposite right now. They are ballooning the populations. I mean, the African population is growing by tremendous leaps and bounds. Okay, and they are right. Population is controlled by food, and food was made much more available. Clean food, clean water, and good food was made much, much more available since 1960 because of programs to make it available in Africa. And so the African population has skyrocketed. It's increased exponentially. So is the royal family part of this eugenics depopulation plan? Are they actively involved? Okay, is the royal family part of this eugenics plan? Heart Mercury, they talk about charity. They're involved in many charities. Strength is very deeply rooted and part of. So I'm asking, is the royal family part of it? They're very deeply rooted in this, and there's many people involved. There's many hands, but they do this by running these charities. What seem to be charities. So Prince Philip, I'm sure he was joking, okay, when he said this, when I'm reincarnated, I'd like to return as a deadly virus. And I remember all that talk in the 80s about overpopulation and people should not have babies. I remember this. And now these chickens have come home to roost, and we have negative population growth in the United States and in the West as a whole. So they were lying to us. I mean, they were obviously lying to us, and I don't know if all the idiots have figured this out. They were obviously lying to us because now we have negative population growth, and we're slated to go the way of Rome, of the Roman civilization. Okay, so he said he'd like to be a virus, which is probably a joke. Will an engineered virus or disease be unleashed within the next 10 years? An engineered virus to kill off large sections. Of the population. 12 and 8, 5 spades. Roses can also be flirtation and sex. This can be a sex disease. Interesting. So 8 spades is illness. This is the illness card. High Tower is official or governmental. A governmental illness related to sex and love and reproduction. That's eugenics. Boy, that is eugenics. So it appears that a disease specifically designed to make people sterile, through sexual contact, will be unleashed on the world. That's interesting, because this adds 5 spades, 12 and 8, 5 spades blockage. It's going to stop reproduction. So there is a plan to unleash a disease that stops reproduction. Is Ebola an engineered disease? Okay, because there's outbreaks of Ebola in, very remote areas of Africa, and it's just horrible. It's just the most horrible disease, and it kills very, very fast. Is that an engineered disease? A governmental engineered disease. Woman, Jacob's Ladder, incubus, succubus. Interesting. Okay, is Ebola an engineered disease? Woman, Jacob's Ladder, incubus, succubus, earthquake. Step by step, through the woman, through the good earth, step by step, is being poisoned and destroyed. So this is also a relationship card. Relationship with humanity, step by step to destroy it. 11 and 12, 23, 6 clubs, olive tree. So step by step, they're planting poisons in the Mother Earth to destroy it. So yeah, Ebola is part of this plan to destroy the Earth. I find this is a sexually designed disease to make people sterile. Is AIDS an engineered disease? Because AIDS is a sexual disease. Magi, devil, cornerstone, Mother Earth. So is AIDS engineered, designed? Well, the Magi creates things. In the cornerstone, this devil was created to be part of the cornerstone. 24, 28, secretly. Wow, it was secretly created and planted in the earth. Yeah, so AIDS was a manufactured disease. Wow, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. Interesting. So it seems like right now they're trying to crash the economies of the West, okay, by flooding them with economic migrants. And the vast majority of these people do not work or contribute. And so basically it's going to lead to a collapse of the economy. It's going to lead to bankruptcy. Okay, and in Europe, there's already 5 countries that are bankrupt. And they are the pigs: Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Greece, and Spain. Okay, so is their plan to bankrupt Europe? Is the current plan to bankrupt Europe, and then that will kick off all of this eugenics program? Is the plan to bankrupt Europe right now? player, crossroads, executioner, hamster wheel. Okay, so is there a plan to bankrupt Europe? So player has very specific goals, crossroads, executioner, and hamster wheel. This is the long game. It's really, they are really thinking long term. 13 and 11, 24, plus 5 is 29, 8 hearts. 8 hearts is water into wine. They're trying to transform Europe by immigration. This is a very specific plan to 8 hearts transform Europe through migration, and executioner. Executioner is very powerful, and the execution will cut your head off. And so, yeah, I asked if they're planning to bankrupt Europe. Player also has money, so the executioner cuts the head off of the money, kills all the money. It's a long-term plan through the migrations to cut the head off. Interesting. And if that happens, if the West or even Europe falls, the entire world will be plunged into dark ages, and everything will just go in reverse for 6,000 years or so. And that's what the Bible says. When the devil comes, when the Antichrist comes, he will reign for 7 years. Okay, and a day to the Lord, a year is like a day. Okay, so 1,000 years is like a day to the Lord. That's a quote. Okay, so that's probably 7,000 years of dark ages where the Antichrist reigns, and it's a globalist world. So the things that we need to worry about, that you need to watch out for, are one world government, one world religion, and one world currency. The Georgia Guidestones, that's exactly what they're propounding. One world government, one world religion, one world currency. And whenever you see that, you're all going to die, basically. I mean, that's what's going to happen. When that happens, you're all dead. I mean, forget about it. So we need to break everything up and not do that. Okay, so let's review here. Is there a plot to depopulate? Is there an active plot to depopulate the earth? Yes, definitely. They're filling the cup to overflowing, and so that there is a committed plot, and they're planting the seeds of destruction. But they seem to be doing the opposite. They're filling the cup. Okay, it's the storm surge. They're filling everything up first. Is the royal family involved in the eugenics plans? Yes, through their many. They're always doing social benefit programs. Okay, so that's what it seems like they're doing, and that's what they're always communicating. But yeah, they're very deeply rooted in this, and there's many, many people involved. Okay. Are they engineering viruses? Are they engineering viruses to depopulate the earth? Yes, officially they are, and these are, interestingly, sexual viruses. It adds 5 spades. They're trying to stop sexual reproduction, 5 spades. They're trying to stop sexual reproduction. Okay, and that would depopulate the earth. Is Ebola engineered? Okay, this disease planted in the people or the earth is part of they're just testing things. Ebola is a virus that they're testing to destroy everything. They're learning and growing, and their step-by-step plan is to do this, to depopulate the earth. Is AIDS an engineered virus? Yeah, the Magi creates things. The Magi manifest things in the cornerstone. So this, yes, this was secretly created to kill off populations. And AIDS would make sense since they're going to try to stop reproduction or greatly curtail it. Okay, is the current plan to bankrupt Europe, which is, it's all related. They're filling up the cup to overflowing, okay, and they're flooding Europe, and they're just overburdening whatever you think of the quote unquote fake racial issues. They're actually, this is an economic issue. The economies of Europe are, 5 of them are already bankrupt, and they simply can't sustain a whole bunch of people coming in who don't work and don't contribute. It's that simple. And it's got nothing to do with where anybody's from. They just, if you're not going to contribute, you can't live there. It's that simple. Okay, so is this a plan to bankrupt Europe? Yeah, it's very specific. Migrants, it's a long-term plan of migrants to cut the head off and destroy economically, players' economic. So, yeah, they're trying to crash the European economies, and if they crash the European economies, the whole world will just go down, and that would create large famines and spread of disease, famine and disease, and wars, and everything would just go crazy and in reverse for a long time. So that's what the globalists are doing. That's what the globalists are doing. So let's throw open all the borders and let everyone in with terrible diseases, because that's the plan. That's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination, Fortune Telling, The Magi Method. You can find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback versions. You can find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. If you liked the video, please subscribe.